Hello and welcome. Today I am so excited to do a walkthrough and comparison video of the Golden Tarot by Cat Black. This is the third printing of the Golden Tarot, and I actually have the first and second printing of the Golden Tarot because I used them professionally for years until I literally retired them. The other reason I'm excited about this is that because I used the other two decks professionally, I never used them personally. It's just a weird thing I have, and it may be my OCD, I don't know, but for some reason and I've mentioned this before, once I start reading with a deck professionally, I can't seem to read with it personally, meaning I can't do personal readings with it. It's just freaky. It's almost like I can't see clearly once I use it to read other people. So it's not like I think that it's contaminated or anything like that, because I clear my decks on a regular basis throughout the day when I do professional tarot readings. It's just this thing, like, because I use it in the way that I do, when I try to read for myself with it, I just can't. So I have personal decks that I use and I have professional decks that I use, and I don't mix them. So this deck, even though I have used it professionally in the past, I am just going to use personally, and we'll see how that works out, because I haven't used it in a long time. I have other decks that I use professionally now, so I'm hoping that I will be able to do personal readings with this. If it turns out that I can't, well, then I'll just use it professionally. I don't know if that's making any sense. I don't know if anyone else has that issue, but I would love to hear. If you do, please let me know in the comments below if this is something that you run into, or if you find that if you do readings for other people and you're finding that you can't read for yourself, and maybe you need a different deck for personal use. At least that's the way that it worked with me. I used the Thoth deck for years for personal use, but once I started using it professionally, that was it. I couldn't seem to get good reads with it for myself. Now I can, because it's been a lot of years. I don't think I've used that deck for professional, purposes since maybe 2004. So now it's fine, and I do use the Thoth deck for personal readings, but for a while there I didn't. So anyway, what I wanted to do is just really quick do a quick comparison of the third printing, the second printing, and the first printing. And as you can see, this deck has gotten a lot of, these decks are very loved. If you look at the bottom of the first edition, it's very worn. The box is kind of, it's a little, they've been through some stuff, just saying. So first and foremost, it just looks like the boxes are the same. The design is the same. I don't find that, I see a huge difference with the vibrancy of these decks. If anything, I mean, it's very slight. The colors might be a little bit leaning towards purple or blue, but with the boxes, but I don't see really anything else. Like if you turn them on their sides, they're the same width, they're the same height, and they're literally the same design, which I love this box design. I think it's very well done. The sides are exactly the same. So you can see that there's some things like the first and the second printing have a different logo than, it looks a little bit different. It's the same logo, but it looks a little bit different logo design. And maybe there's a bit of a difference with the with the bottom, but not much. Like really, I don't really see much of a difference here. I mean, it's the same. So what I'm going to do is just kind of look at the book, and let's turn this over and see. And from what I can tell, when I looked at the latest edition, or the latest printing of it, it's not really a different edition. It is the same deck, but when I looked at it, it seemed like the book was the same. So so let's take a look at the packaging, see if there's any difference there. And from what I can tell, there really isn't. if anything, I think that when you look at when I push that in, when you look at the latest printing of it, I feel like this lines up. You can see that the book lines up perfectly it's flush with the top of the box. And I think that's kind of nice because you can see that here it isn't. So that's a very small difference. It doesn't matter to me either way, but I'm going to point that out. As far as the books themselves, let's just, what I'm going to do is put these out of the way and look at the books and see what is different. Like you can see that these decks I have are very well loved. I do love these decks so, so much. So, okay, let's look here. So as far as I can tell, I'm trying to, let me get these in focus. There's some color differences. I don't know if the camera is picking it up, but it seems like the third and the second printings, they are more, the colors look more like, I don't know if they look more indigo or they look more violety, I don't know. Whereas the first book from the first printing seems like it looks more blue. But as far as the design of it, the thickness of it, they look the same. Like just exactly the same. I don't know as far as, it does seem like as far as the inside of the, like see for instance, I noticed this. So this is the third printing. Let's see if you can see this. And basically let's see, can you see that? It has that the copyright is 2003. There's nothing about this is the third edition. There's nothing that really says that. So I would consider these printings not, first, second, and third editions. So there's that. But it looks like they all have the same copyright and information. The numbers, some of the numbers are different, but like I noticed last night, so literally, that both of these, the first printing and the second printing, literally say first edition on them, and this just doesn't say anything. The third printing doesn't say anything, but it looks like as far as the contents, they're all the same. If you can see that they all look alike. When I look back here to how many pages they have, it looks like they have the same amount of pages. Well, yeah, they have the same amount of pages. I'm having a hard time holding these open. And the paper feels really good with all of them. Really nice paper. Yeah, so nothing's changed there. I don't think that anything has changed with the books at all. Even the information. I was looking at it last night. The acknowledgments, it looks like they're the same as far as information about the deck and it being digital collage and how she created it. It looks like that is the same as well. So I don't think any of that, I don't think the book has changed, the design hasn't changed, so that looks like all of it is the same. I am going to want to talk about the book a little bit. So one of the things that I love about this book is that I love her story. I love that she acknowledges, the different people that, that assisted her with the deck. I really think this is a nice little book. And the other thing that she does is, she talks about, where she, how she sourced the artwork. And I thought that was interesting, and about her love for collage, and that at the time of creating this deck, I don't know how it is now, but she, she has a different art style, but she's really attracted to, Renaissance and the golden, years artwork and, you know, just antiquated art, and I am too. I love it, and I think this is why this is one of my favorite decks ever, and I love how she did this. And then there's information, but the other thing that I didn't realize for the longest time, because I'm really bad about not looking at the books once I get them. I'm really bad about that. I mean, I did look at them, but I didn't know for a while that there's actually, she has this, you know, the sources for each card. Like, for instance, she talks about with the Tower where what resources she used and what materials she used to collage that particular deck. And she does that for all of them, and I think that's so cool, and I do like to know about this. The other thing she talks about that I thought was really interesting, because I have the Botticelli deck by Los Scarabeos, and I have other decks that you know, have artwork that is, you know, from the Renaissance or medieval times and things like that, but they don't always give you information about it, or they're familiar, you know, to me. But she used a lot of artwork that people don't actually, you know, that it isn't artwork that's that familiar. And so I think from what she was saying, is she really enjoyed doing that and using artwork that wasn't well known. And I just think that's just so cool. So, yeah, so now what I want to do is, and I think I'm just going to go straight through. I'm not going to do any cuts for this video. I think I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to run with it. What I wanted to look at was this is the cardstock for the third printing. This is the cardstock for the second printing. And this is the cardstock for the first printing. And so basically you can see there really isn't, outside of that, trying to not see, the second printing is glossy, so it's really hard not to pick up the gloss. Just saying. I didn't think about that when I started this video. I guess if you lift it up, it's whatever. So I will try to do that. So as far as I can tell, I don't find that, you know, sometimes the glossy decks look more vibrant, and this one is very vibrant. I mean, you can see very vibrant, but I don't find that it's more vibrant. Let's see. I don't find that the third, this is tricky, that the third edition is more vibrant, or the second printing is more vibrant than the first printing. I don't see that at all. If anything, I feel like the colors might be a little bit deeper in the third printing, the newest one. As far as the matte one, the one that has probably been my favorite between the first and the second, because it is matte, it might seem a little less vibrant, but not really, not by much. And so, yeah, that's the first thing. The other thing is that this cardstock, this linen cardstock, I'm just saying, I can tell that it's going to be a lot more manageable. I have not shuffled this deck. I have not laid it out. But I can just tell it's going to be a lot more manageable. Both decks of the first and the second printing they were a little challenging. One was really slippery to handle, and the cardstock is stiff, but really good cardstock. I like US Games cardstock for the most part. I've really not ever had an issue with it. But the first edition that's matte, even though it feels so much better to me, it was challenging to shuffle. Not so much for me, but for my clients. They pretty much complained about it every time. So I'm excited to be using this one, because I think it's going to be a lot easier. Linen cardstock usually is, and I'm excited. So yeah, as you can see when you look at this, they're really, let me move those aside. I don't really see much of a difference. If anything, I mean, they look just pretty much identical to me. If there is a difference, I am not seeing it. I just am not seeing it. Maybe it's the light. I don't know. Maybe I don't know, maybe someone else will catch it, but I'm not really catching it. If there's a difference, it's so close that it really doesn't matter. So as far as the card backs, they are the same. And as much as I have just loved working with the matte one because I love the way it feels, I can tell you right now, I like the linen cardstock better. I think, I can't imagine anyone not liking it. It feels really good. As far as, let me get these out of the way. As far as the gilding, now this is going to be the tricky part. I have worn out the gilding of the other two, and you'll see that in a second. So this is the second printing. Here's the first, here's the second. And as you can see, let me fix this. Okay, as you can see, I have literally used the heck out of it. And I will do the same to the third printing as well, but you can see the difference. Like, that's pretty insane. And then the third one, this is the first. And I do think that I ended up getting more use out of the second edition for professional use, because what started happening with the, this one is, let's see, I can't see it here. Some of the cards started tearing, or the backs, or started chipping. And I think the second printing did as well, but that's when I finally put this one away. I did use, even though I wasn't using this one for professional purposes, after I got this one, I started using this different cards from this deck on my altar. My favorite cards to use on my altar were actually, I just love these. Like, let's see. This is a card that I put on my altar all the time, the Strength card. And the other one that I use on my altar a lot is, let's see. This double is the Star, the Moon, and the World. I use these a lot. There's other ones that I use as well. I use tarot a lot for magic, but also just for meditation and prayer. And so once this one was off the table professionally, I used it for other things. So yeah. So as far as I can tell, again, everything looks the same. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and put these two away. And I'm going to go ahead and do a flip through. I hope I'm putting these in the right boxes. Do a flip through of the deck. I think that's right. I don't even know. They do look so much alike, right? Okay. This is so impromptu. I just wanted to get it out of the way so I could shuffle my deck. This video is kind of selfish. Really, it is. I really want to work with this deck so much, and I knew I wanted to do a video for it. So just showing everyone that there is a linen edition now, and I think it's just like great. So I don't think, I didn't, let me just compare really quick, because I didn't do that. Whoopsie. I am so not on my game today. It's been like that all day. I've like dropped things, bumped into things. I have scratches on my arm. I don't even know where they came from. It's just been like, I have a lot on my mind. I'm moving at the 1st of November, and that's where my mind is right now. I am moving to the mountains, and I'm super excited about it. And so yeah, so let's look at this really quick though. Okay, so I kind of, maybe it's my angle, but let me, I don't really... see that much of a difference. I can't really see... If you see a difference, can you let me know? Because from the way that I'm looking at it and the way that I do my videos is I'm literally using my phone to video this, and I'm watching it on my tablet so that I don't have to keep standing up and sitting down and adjusting everything. So I can just do it that way. But from where I'm sitting, I really don't see much of a difference. I think if anything, I'm noticing that it seems like, I don't know, they did a really good job. I mean, they did a really good job. I don't feel like any of the color was lost in any of the additions. So I just don't see it. Let's see. Let me look at... I mean, if anything, it feels like the new edition or the new printing, it feels like the colors are a little bit deeper. But maybe I notice a little bit more of the detail. Let me find the other magician after I messed up the cards. That I'm seeing more of the detail maybe in the second edition. I don't know. It's really not, in my opinion, the new third printing is an improvement. So, and I'm not really seeing much of a difference. I think if anything, the one that is less vibrant may be the first printing, but this one seems redder to me than these two. These seem like a little bit more orange on the orange side, and this seems a little bit more red. But again, it's so slight that and I might be imagining it, but I feel like I see more detail in these two. But again, it might be from where I'm sitting. So again, let me know. And if you have this deck already, I would love to know how you feel about it. And if you just love shuffling it, I am going to be shuffling this deck at the end of this video because I'm way too excited not to. So let's move those out of the way. And let's do the walkthrough. We have got the Fool, the Magician, I love this deck so much. I'm so excited to work with it. She did such a wonderful job. I did a video with my fall decks, and I was talking about how one of the things that I love about this deck, it is digital collage, but I like that, and I like different types of collage decks. I'm kind of picky about them, but I do like them, and I do have them. But I like that I love what she did with this deck. I love how, if I didn't know better, I would think that this was painted that way, that these cards were painted that way. I love that she was able to make it look that way, that it looks like it was created this way. That if I didn't know it was a digitally collage deck, I wouldn't know that, you know. And so I think that's just so cool. Like, she did such an amazing job. It's that way with the Touchstone Tarot as well, but this one especially. Like, that's amazing. This is such an incredible deck. I remember when this deck came out, I literally, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to have this. Because in the very beginning of my, you know, the deck that I studied with for the first, I don't know, 10 years was the Thoth deck. But I was very drawn to antiquated deck, Renaissance, pre-Raphaelite type decks, the Visconti deck, you know, the Marseille. I was very drawn to it. And I love this kind of artwork not just for tarot, but I love a lot of this type of artwork. I'm drawn to it. John William Waterhouse, Lord Friedrich Leighton. I love that work. I love that type of artwork because there was so much in it at the time, and it said so much. So, yeah. This, I'm wondering, I'm trying to remember if this was the first tarot deck that I had that presented the aces as an angel presenting the elements. And that works for me. I don't know, that just really works for me. I mean, I also like to see them by themselves. And I think the only other way that I like to see them presented is with elementals or angels, because it just makes sense to me. Usually when I put my decks in order, I put them in order by number, and then it's wands, cups, and swords, and then pentacles. That's usually the way that I do it. And instead of just putting them in order by the suit, it's just I find what I like to compare the numbers and the elements right next to each other. So I like to compare the Three of Wands to the Three of Cups in that way. It just, my brain just, it's easier on my brain. I really love this. And I feel like I'm reconnecting with this deck after so many years. I mean, it's been a while since I used this professionally. I don't think I've used it since I moved back to North Carolina in 2015. I think I had stopped using it professionally when I was in Michigan. And I love this. So this feels like I'm reconnecting with an old friend, and it's nice. I'm excited about it. I love the colors of this deck. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is the Six of Wands, and it's artwork that she digitally collaged. And that's just amazing. This deck is perfection. In my opinion. I know not everybody likes, I know there's a lot of contemporary decks out, and I love those too. I mean, I have lots of decks, but there's something about the Renaissance, medieval, and, you know, artwork of this time, the golden age and everything. There's so much depth and there's so much history that I'm just drawn to it. I just love it. I really love that with this Eight of Wands, you see the scroll. You know, this can be a card that it brings messages, you know, among other things. It just, you know, I love this. I used the Victorian romantic deck for years professionally. I had 2 copies of it and I wore it out. And if I ever get another copy of it, which I hope to, I won't use it professionally. That cardstock of the Victorian romantic tarot is not as sturdy. And so I wore it out pretty fast. And I think that was when I started using this one professionally. Because when I first got it, I didn't work with it. It was almost like it was too pretty. And I love this Nine of Coins. This is one of my favorite minor arcana. This card is on my altar. I love the symbolism of this card, the Venus in Virgo, the financial independence. It's known as a gain card, but I see this as she's a very independent woman. She has manifested this amazing life for herself, and she's enjoying it. she's celebrating it. And I love this card. 10 of Wands. Another deck that I'm working with right now a lot, and it is one of my favorite decks right now, is the Serpent and the Peacock. And it has a lot of the golds in it of the time, and a lot of browns, deep greens, and golds. And it's a digitally collage deck, and it's wonderful. I love that deck so much. And I have the art version, which is, you know, it became a favorite immediately. I love this Page of Cups. I'm really excited about moving to the mountains. I'm excited about having a mountain view. I'm a little bit nervous about the snow, but all in all, I really love the Appalachian Mountains, so I'm so excited about it. The lighting in this place where I live right now is just horrid, and also they're doing a lot of construction around here right now, so I have to film these videos at night, and it's kind of a pain in my butt, and I'm excited to the natural light of my new space, which I think is just going to make my life so much easier, and also quiet. It will be quiet. Okay, back up. I got distracted there for a second. I love this Queen of Wands. She is amazing. This is like my, I'm a Leo, so Queen of Wands, love her. And I also love, I think this Queen of Cups is so beautiful. The Queen of Swords, she looks pretty shrewd to me. Like, you don't want to mess with her. But I love the butterfly. I'm doubting that was there, but I don't know. I'd have to read about it. The Queen of Coins, which is one of my other favorite queens. I think the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Coins are my all-time favorite queens. And she's wonderful. Got the King of Wands, the Flames. I'm sure that was added. But I mean, she just said, and the Salamander, which I don't really think that's a salamander. I think that's like some other kind of lizard. Because, yeah. I'm a reptile person, and I don't think that's a salamander. But I could be wrong. It doesn't matter. Look at this water. So pretty. Such a gorgeous deck. The colors in this deck are just and these are my colors. Like, these are the colors I have around me. These are the kind of colors I wear. I wear a lot of deep greens, browns, different color browns, and burnt oranges, and these are the colors I have in my house. So this deck it's probably another reason why it does it for me, among other things. And look at that beautiful gilding. And like a lot of, or most US Games cards, this is standard tarot size. But yeah. So that is the third printing of the Golden Tarot by Kat Black. I think she's amazing. I'm a big fan. I love the Touchstone Tarot as well, but this is my favorite one between the two. And I have the first printing of that one. But let's go ahead and shuffle this baby, because I'm dying to do it. Whoopsie, that was my fault. Oh yeah. I know some people don't. I remember when I first started doing tarot, I thought it was like sacrilegious to riffle shuffle, but I really do enjoy it. I love how it clears the energy of the cards, and you know, you really can't get a good mix when you just do hand over hand, and I do a little bit of both. So typically, if I'm reading professionally, what I do is I shuffle while I'm talking to my client and listening to what we're going to be focusing on. And then what I do is I hand them the cards and I have them shuffle them. And I'm always, it's funny because I guess when I was a kid, my mom taught me, like, I think I knew how to riffle shuffle when I was like 5. My dad and my mom were all about the cards and not tarot. And so I've been shuffling for, I mean, seriously, since I was a kid. I think before I even went to kindergarten. And there was a lot of, I'm aging myself now, but we played a lot of card games when I was younger. My family did, and my friends did. So you always had them around on the table in a drawer nearby. There was always like decks of cards. It was bicycle, right? So I've always shuffled, and I'm always surprised at how a lot of my clients don't, that it feels very awkward to them. You know, the cards are oversized for sure, but you can tell it's just not something that a lot of them are used to. They don't do it. So that always surprised me. But anyway, after I have my clients shuffle the deck, I have them cut the deck in 3 piles. Like so. And then what I do is I let them just leave it there, and then I pick up the first pile. I cheat and I look at it, which is what I'm going to do right now. 3 of Swords. This card actually makes sense right now, not for romantic purposes or anything like that, but I've had a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress about things right now in my world. And like I said, I'm moving away from that, but it does make sense. And then what I do is I hold on to that and I pick up the second. I just keep it like this. And I do think this makes sense because I'm getting ready to go on a new journey. And I think when I get the full card, I feel a little bit better. I feel like, okay, you have everything that you need mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually to do something new. There's always room for another step forward, right? So when I get this, it makes sense. I am, the 3 of Swords was unwanted but necessary separation. And I think in this case, it's separation from my situation. And I was resistant I kept hoping things would get better. They didn't get better. And that was just denial. But that makes sense to me. And then the 7 of Cups, which I also call the ADD card, or the which way should I go George card. I think that this is sort of like, just stay focused. Right now, when I start to get stressed out in my situation, my current situation, I pack something, I throw something out, or I organize, or all of those things. And those are the things I'm in control of right now until I get moved. So that's what I'm doing, and just trying to stay focused, and pay it, just focus on what's the most important thing. So I'm just going to lay out these cards. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and I think try to do I don't know if I can fit it on here, but I want to do like a 5 card spread. I wasn't going to do this. I don't know. Just feel like it, I guess. So I don't really know if I got a really good shuffle here. Usually I spend more time with it. I don't feel like I put a lot of energy into it. But let's see what comes up. Lots of swords. I don't think that's weird. I got that 3 of Swords, which was my first cut, and so I don't think that's weird at all. This, I feel, is not just one person. I think it's collective. I think it's I feel very supported right now. I feel like people are saying, you know what, if you need anything. I'm really bad about asking for help. And so I feel like people have really gone, you know what, we're gonna like get you moved and everything. And so I've gotten that part taken care of about how I'm gonna move my stuff and all of that. Moving is just the worst, but I am excited about it. So the other thing is the Ace of Coins brings messages of opportunities on a physical level. So this is what's passing. This is what's right now. I do think this is seeds that want to be planted. I am very consciously trying to do that right now. Now, this is a hidden influence. When I look at this layout, this would be recent past, or what's passing, what's present, what's an undercurrent, what the advice is, and what's coming up near future. Now, when I'm doing a reading, I never end the reading with a minor arcana. I never do. I always have to flip over a card. I want to get to the the meat of it, which is the lesson, what's going on energetically, not just the symptoms. So basically, this makes sense to me as what's going on right now. And then the Knight of Swords being the hidden influence, I really think this is about focusing on the future. And I think when I think of the Knights, they're on a mission, and they go after their element, they bring it back. That is what they do. That is the point of them. They are uber focused. And I think that because I do struggle with OCD and ADD sometimes, the hidden influence here is stay focused. Now, the advice doesn't surprise me. It's been like a week, and I think even though I am needing to be productive and prepare for the move, because it's not that far away, I'm feeling it. It's feeling real. I put in a change of address yesterday, but I think what this one is saying is not to overdo it, to kind of take a weekend to maybe, and I'm not saying I'm not going to do anything, because I probably will pack some stuff just leisurely, but I think it's also saying, you know what, just kind of let your mind rest, be careful of mind chatter. And I do think that I will take that advice. And then we've got the Page of Swords, which to me, this brings messages of things to come. And I think this has a lot to do with the move and everything that I'm planning moving forward. And then it shows, I think this in the near future is planning in the midst of like this is balancing in the midst of changes, that, you know, it's going to be an adjustment, but I've got this. I used to look at this as like the soccer mom card. I was a single, I mean, I am still a mother, but I was a single mom raising my daughter. And when I got this card, there was this feeling of, you've got this, right? Like, no matter what, you've got this. And then the outcome card, because again, I'm not going to end my reading with a minor arcana, is the World. And I like it. It's everything coming full circle. I also think it's about celebration. It is also, because it's ruled by Saturn, it is accomplishment after a lot of hard work, right? This is also endings and beginnings. And I think that it makes sense, considering that one of my cuts was the Fool. And I think this just makes all the sense in the world. So I love this deck. I wasn't going to do a reading for myself on camera. I don't really do that, but whatever. So there you have it. This is the Golden Tarot by Kat Black. I am a huge fan. I am excited. After I am done with this video, I'm probably going to play with this deck for a little while and see what actually comes up. Anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate that you showed up, and if you're still with me, I appreciate that even more. And if you like this video, please just give it a like. And I would really love to hear what you think about this deck, what your feelings are about decks like this. Does this type of a deck speak to you? Are you drawn to this type of artwork? Or is it just too antiquated for you? You know, everybody is different with that. And like I said, I do love this art style. So, you know, I love all the art styles. I love art. I like all kinds of music. And I mean, I can go from listening to Elvis Presley to listening to Rage Against the Machine and Marilyn Manson. I am very, I like a lot of diversity in my life. So I don't like just one type of deck. And so I like them all. I like all the decks. Anyway, thanks again, and bye.